When Highbury was being knocked out, my dad said, yeah, we'll do an interview if we can play on the pitch. When we did finally finish and come off the pitch after we'd done all these interviews, they tore it up. I'm really sorry, but technically the last goal was scored by me and Martin Kemp. How's it going? I'm Roman Kemp and I'm here doing box to box. Now I'm gonna have to go through a lot of boxes, open them all up. I have no idea what's inside them, no idea what anyone's put in any of them. Although I do hope that one of these is the Champions League trophy for Arsenal. I think what I would not like to be in any of these boxes is a premonition of Spurs winning in any way, shape or form. Maybe some form of voodoo against Arsenal or for Harry Kane and co. That would not be great. Thanks, I think. This is a nice start. Okay. A James Rodriguez Colombia shirt. Oh, I mean, look, what a player. I mean, during this World Cup, what was it, the Brazil Rio World Cup 2014? I mean, he was phenomenal. I think he won the Golden Boot that year. I worked for Adidas for a little bit, and I used to make a show called Game Day Plus. And I remember I met him doing this interview. He was there to kick up a fuss to say that he demanded them make golden boots for the rest of the season. To which I think they declined and reminded him that he is not the greatest player of all time. And only Zidane and Messi have had boots like that. Oh, and David Beckham at some point. It was quite a moment. It was the first footballer tantrum I've ever witnessed in firsthand. This shirt also reminds me of, I mean, just looking at the Colombia shirt does also remind me of England playing Colombia in the 2018. I've never seen a grown man headbutt a chandelier and come off better than the chandelier, but that was my best mate, he did that. But look, many good memories.
How was it training with Soccer Aid?
Soccer Aid is unreal. Soccer Aid is the best thing ever. And I wanted to be in Soccer Aid so badly that I let everyone in on the knowledge that I wasn't actually born in England and I was born in the States. But Soccer Aid did lead me to then being in the World 11 team, which I actually prefer because they get more legends into that team. There was a point when we were training, I received the ball from Julio Cesar and he's thrown it out to me at right back, and I've looked up and I've seen the hand go up and I've thought, yeah, Drogba, here you go, bosh. And it's just into Drogba. I'll tell you one thing though, I was in the shower after the game, so we won. My favourite moments from Soccer Aid have been in the shower. At half time, I walked into the shower and I just saw Claude Makelele there, starkers, in flip-flops, having a cigarette. And then at full time, when we had won, and we were celebrating, it was me, Kem Setenay and Niall Horan, then all of a sudden I just hear these flip-flops coming into the shower, and I've just looked over and it's Drogba, naked. And all I can say is, my God, he doesn't need a trophy. He's got one attached to him.
I was going to ask if the rumours about Claude Makelele were true.
Yes, they are. I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but Claude Makelele has a third leg.
So, spin us through your celebrity five-a-side team.
So in goal, just because I was so shocked at how much he actually held himself, Ori Aduba, very good goalkeeper and a lovely man. And so I would keep Ori in goal. At the back, got to pick myself. For one. And then I like to see Dermot Kennedy next to me, kind of playing in that little more advanced role, as I say, on the transitions, floats back just to help me out, but then can change forward. Up top, probably Niall Horan. Niall, nice little finish, got good little right foot on him, places the ball. Doesn't blast it, places it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for culture in the club. But in the middle, if I'm allowed to pick one baller that I've ever played with, one actual footballer, it would be a toss-up between Jack Wilshere or Joe Cole. And I have to say Joe Cole. I've never been more impressed by a footballer. I've played with some current players and I've never seen someone dance around people like that. So Joe, you're in. Thank you. Right. I think after you do a show like I'm a Celeb, you're constantly scared of anything that's in a box. Okay. Oh yes. This is our commemorative shirt that at the time I hated. I really did not like this shirt. It was like, I didn't like the colour, but obviously we had this colour because this was the original colour of Arsenal, but this was for our last season at Highbury. I had this shirt, and I mean, on here, got Dennis, number 10 on the back. I actually had Hleb on the back, Alex Hleb. This was also a season that I remember a goal from Dennis Bergkamp scoring in this against FC Thun, I believe, that took us through top of the group in the Champions League stages. Yeah, I know it well. But this shirt means a lot to me as well because it actually has a nice memory with my dad. When Highbury was being knocked out, they had a day where you could go and get your own bit of grass, and normally what they'd do is they'd send it to you. But my dad is also so emotionally attached to Arsenal and was to Highbury. My dad wanted me to come with him and go down to Highbury and collect our bit of grass. And when we went down there was like news cameras all doing a story on realistically a boring piece of content, which was everyone getting like a little tiny foot of grass. So when they saw Martin Kemp pull up, they were like, okay, we can do something. And my dad said, yeah, we'll do an interview if we can play on the pitch. We ended up playing on the pitch with all the cameramen and everyone, and we all played, and we were all scoring goals. And I've got this nice little moment where I remember wearing this shirt, scoring into the North Bank. When we did finally finish and come off the pitch after we'd done all these interviews, they tore it up. I'm really sorry, but technically the last goal was scored by me and Martin Kemp. You know, this badge to me is my life. This is the only constant that I will ever have in my life. Other than family members, this is the only thing that survives everything. You know, ex-girlfriends or, you know, girlfriends to come or whatever. Foods that I like, anything like that, movies that I like, that will all change. This doesn't. This is with you from birth. It controls my life in ways that it shouldn't. It defines my happiness at times. But the memories and the joy that it's given me, don't get me wrong, over the past 10 years has been absolutely horrendous.
Do you ever regret your Arsenal tattoo?
I do have quite a big tattoo. It's quite large on my left thigh. I've never regretted it because I got it in a moment still of acceptance, whereby I think we actually got it the season we finished I think 8th we finished that season. Again, I went back to that thing of Arsenal for me isn't just about, it's not about where we place it, it's gone past that now. I think it's the constant thing and the happiness that it has brought me, even the sadness that it's brought me. You know, I think football for anyone is such a great thing because it teaches you about loss. It teaches you about understanding that loss is something that will happen. You can't control everything in your life, and that can't be said more so than for an Arsenal fan.
Have you met many Arsenal players?
I am the same way. Whenever I meet a footballer, I revert back to being a child and I can't talk. I remember the first time I had to interview Thierry Henry. I think I honestly just froze. I didn't say anything, and I came out in a big rash all up my neck because of like heat rash, because I was so nervous. After that, I was meeting then Prince Charles, the now King Charles, and I was fine with that. But I met my real king in Thierry. I will still, even if there's a player from the youth academy, I'll still hit my friend and be like, that's Thingy over there. Oh yeah, don't look at him, don't ask for a picture or anything like that. So it's meeting footballers still now is massive.
How mentally are you going to go if Arsenal win the league?
Firstly, Arsenal are going to win the league. I can't say it with a straight face. I still remember where I was stood. I still remember what was happening. I still remember what I was talking about the last time we lifted the trophy. The Champions League means so much to me, so much, that the most nervous I've ever been watching a football match was I went to Liverpool versus Tottenham in the Champions League final in Madrid. I can't begin to describe how upset I would have been if Tottenham become the first North London club to lift that trophy. I can't, it's not gonna happen. Okay, my new book. So I ended up writing a book that's mainly focused around mental health because it's something that is part of my life, unfortunately. You know, I'm one of these people that are quite common now that have lost someone really close to suicide. I'm someone that has openly talked about suicide in the sense of I myself have had those types of ideas, as 1 in 4 men do. You know, I've been through this thing over the last 2 years since losing my friend and since going through my own stuff, whereby a lot of people have asked me for advice or have asked me for, you know, why do I think a certain way? What you know, how did my parents raise me and those types of things? And I genuinely found that this was the best way to do it. In terms of what people can expect, it's a lot of what I've been through in the last 2 years with my ups and downs in my own mental health, you know, suicide and some dark topics. You know, it goes through stories in my life, how my friends are with me, you know, what I do to take my mind off things from work or, you know, from personal issues. But I had to also put in there some nice things, because life is about nice things as well. There's a massive part in this that is football, and, you know, we kind of said, like, I have to include that in there because it is such a big part of my life. You know, sometimes football is the only good thing that's going on in my life. That may sound sad, but it's still something, you know, and it is understanding that sometimes, you know, those coping mechanisms can be anything. And sometimes it's nice to be able to show people that I'm having these nice moments whilst also having these really dark thoughts. But that's life, and that's okay. You're not expected to be 100% all the time. You know, there's lovely bits in there, you know, in terms of, obviously that, you know, I'm super close to my dad. And so a lot of it, you know, is talking about my relationship with him. And now moving on, I think since everything that I've been through in the last 2 years, again, like, little things change. When it comes to presents or things like that, or gifts that I give to my parents or my sister or my friends, it's always got to be memories. For my dad's 60th, I didn't want to go in a corporate free ticket thing. I wanted to buy my own ticket for me and my dad to go to the Euro final. I wanted to be in the stands, I wanted to be by the drums. And I said to my dad, we've got to go, you've got to wear a bucket hat, I'm wearing a bucket hat, full England tops, and we're going to live it. And that's the picture that we've got there. Seeing Luke Shaw score that goal, and then all of a sudden my dad in tears, somehow 15 feet away from me down the stairs, rolling around with a bunch of other England supporters, is going to stay with me for life. One of the best memories I'll ever have with my dad. My obsession with tights. No, tattoos. Do you know what I find about tattoos and tattoo parlours for that matter? Tattoo artists and their parlours are some of the nicest places and some of the nicest people I've ever met. So kind and warm, but the tattoo game still has that intimidating factor. This is how I wanted to look as a child. They are a part of my life, unfortunately for my mum. Sorry, mum. I mean, I'm pretty covered. Most of my torso is all done. My legs are still in the process. Ugh. But there is one terrible one, and that is the Ed Sheeran one that everyone wants to see. We had like a kind of drunken, half drunken bet, half radio bet, that Ed wouldn't tattoo my leg, and turns out he would. And that's on me for the rest of my life.
If you had to pick a Arsenal player to tattoo you.
Current Arsenal player?
Current Arsenal player.
It would be Tomiyasu, because I think he would be gentle. I would not have Granit Xhaka. That would be like walking, I imagine going and getting a tattoo off Granit Xhaka would be walking into like a death metal dark room and him just not using any numbing cream. Hope you enjoyed that. That was Box to Box with me, Roman Kemp. And if you can like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, even if you're a Spurs fan, you can probably comment as well, that's fine. Up the arse.